And today I've got a brand new video for you. It's been a little bit, but this is going to be the start of a brand new series that I'm going to be doing called Hour. This is a new series I'm going to be doing, not exactly sure how often, but I'm going to be doing it often enough to the point that you'll at least get a video every month, if not 2 weeks, maybe, I don't know. This video is originally going to start on PS4, and then this video series is eventually going to go over to the PC. Problem is, I need to actually get my PC working, and I have a PC account on Warframe. I have been playing for, what the heck did I do? I've been playing for a couple weeks now, but I don't actually have a point that it's to the point that it's useful. So, with that being said, we're going to start with the brand new Prime frame, Oberon Prime, as well as I'm going to be using his two weapons, Cerberus Prime and SRY-in-advance Prime, and then I thought it was only fitting to use the Stiletto Prime with him, and I'll explain why in a second. The build I'm going with Oberon is a Rest and... a Rage and Renewal build, that's right. So that means you got Rage, you're mainly going for Renewal, which is going to be power strength, as well as power efficiency and power range. Duration you're going to want to keep above 80%, because if you don't, then your power drain is going to be a lot higher than you want it to be. So there is the Oberon build. Now let's get into the Cerberus Prime, which you'll see is level 29, but that's because that was all the forma that it took to put into the gun, and I didn't really care like doing a mission to get one extra level before doing this. So we're going to get that in right now. But this build is a dual critical chance and status build. It's a little bit weird for guns in this game, but it is the first to be like this. So we're going to have Serration, Split Chamber, Point Strike, and Vital Sense. That's going to give us our critical build. And then on the bottom row is going to be our status build. So I went with Fanged Fusillade just to tip that slash up higher than both the impact and the puncture. This is going to be giving me more slash procs towards the end of the hour, and then after the hour. I have High Voltage Malignant Force, that's going to give me corrosive, and then I have Thermite Rounds, which is going to give me heat damage. I'm going to be playing against the Infested, so this is probably the best one. I'm not sure if I wanted to go for Viral or if I wanted to go for Corrosive and Heat. So I ended up going with Corrosive and Heat, and yeah. What's up, Tricksta? How's it going? So second of all, we're going to drop down to the SRY-in-advance. That's because I need to explain the Stiletto a little bit. So I'm going with a full status build on this one. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that or if I'm not happy with that, but this is the build that I'm going with, and I'm not sure which one I wanted to use. Final Harbinger, 11th Storm. Final Harbinger is a lot more fun to watch, but 11th Storm is better. So I'm going to go with 11th Storm. Now, the other two builds I had for this, as you can see, this is Configuration C. The other two builds I had was this build, which I'm still kind of working on. Don't know if I like it or not. And the only reason I don't know if I like it or not is because of this. I have to put this mod in here in order to get it up to a high enough critical chance, and unfortunately when you do that, your attack speed is going to be 0.75, and unfortunately is going to make this weapon just a little bit too slow, and I have a feeling that's why they decreased the attack speed when they made this weapon, was to make sure that this build wasn't overpowered. And then my final build is a little bit different, but I actually kind of like this one the most so far. So this one's going with a full critical chance build, and then you have 3 dual stat mads instead of 3 single stat 90% elemental mods. I've actually thought about it. It doesn't work, unfortunately, and the status chance is actually pretty decent on this build. It allows you to strip down armor enough with this little bit of corrosive, or actually this is the viral build. This is a viral rad build, actually. This was, I think, an hour-long survival, but I would generally do this and go with Corrosive and Blast, and that's going to give you that little bit of an edge when it comes to taking down the Infested. So I'm going to go with this build for this one, and we're going to roll with that. Now, the reason I went with the Stilettos was actually because I had an interesting build for this one as well. it's something that took me a long time to do, and I didn't know if I wanted to do it, because while I have this build, I also have a 100% status build. And I'm not sure if I like that one, or if I like this one. So, that is why I went with the Axe Stilettos, was because this one confused me as much as the other two builds. So with that being said, it's time for some what the hell? That's what Oberon looks like? Damn, he's an ugly bastard. So that being said, I'm going to be running with Helios, just because I like scanning stuff, and scanning stuff is good. And then, I guess Sweeper, because it's the only one that I actually have a full build on. So that being said and shown, I should probably push this mic away from my mic so I'm not constantly blowing in your ear. But with that being said and done, we are going to be going to Ceres. We're going to be doing Gabby. Or should I do Draco? Draco and Gabby are my two favorite missions for an hour-long survival. I think I'm going to do Ash on Draco, just because it's a little bit safer, and I can figure out how much damage I'm going to be taking every half second. So I'm going to do Gabby this time. Unfortunately, it is a little bit easier than Draco, but if it's as hard as I think it's going to be, then I should probably end up doing this myself. So we're going to do a solo survival, and yeah, get right on into it. So I've actually had this series for a little bit, but it's taken me a while. So let me explain this series to you guys. So After an Hour is going to be a 2-part series every single time that I put out a new part. I'm going to have one fully length hour-long survival, and that is this stream that you are watching now. And then I'm also going to be having a not quite, oh, that's not what I wanted. That's definitely not what I wanted. Hey, I finished Ceres. Look at me. Took me a very fucking long time. So I'm going to have that, and then I'm also going to have about a 5 to 10 minute video that's actually fully edited, and fully, like, completely done to the point that everyone knows the big parts of the weapons and how they compete at each, like, time interval, whether or not they are still strong after an hour, and that's going to be a fully edited video. Now, obviously what you're going to watch here is the rawest footage you can. It's going to be the biggest test for it. So, if you want to know the full details, then you would watch the stream, but if you're just looking to see what weapons are best, then the 10-minute video will suit you. So I'm going to be using mainly the Cerberus for the beginning, because I have a feeling it's going to fall off pretty fast. I actually prefer the Dextabarus over this one. I'm not sure why, but it just feels better to me. And I don't even run Argon Scope on it. I don't even have Argon Scope, I don't think. I don't think I'm ready enough for the DLC or the event when it happened. But I don't have that, actually. So I just use a normal, like, old Soma build, like with the dual stat, or with the single stat mods, and then the good old, what do you call it? The good old Point Strike and Vital Sense. That's really all I use. And I don't feel bad about it at all. To be perfectly honest with you. But I have a feeling this one's going to be a little bit tougher, especially towards the end when I'm really just relying on Weeping Wounds to do all my damage. I'm not sure how long the Axe Stilettos are going to last. I haven't actually tested this build at an hour-long time limit yet, so part of this video is going to be me just kind of seeing if it works. The Oberon build that I currently have, I have taken to an hour. Sabaris build and the Axe Stiletto build, I have not. And I haven't taken... I've taken the Aegis and Prime, actually, an hour as well. I took it with Oberon as well. And Oberon's a very strong frame past an hour. It's really interesting, and really the only problem you have to worry about is energy. And even that's not that big of a deal, because your strength is so high that if you end up getting into a trouble spot, you can end up using your 4. That's going to allow you to deal enough damage to potentially kill all of the enemies around you, as well as, if you need to, it'll put a radiation proc on them, and then they can't attack you anyway. Or at least they can attack you, they just start attacking their teammates as well. So, overall, Oberon's a very strong solo frame. In fact, he's become one of my favorites. And then his 3 keeps you healed, keeps you topped up throughout the entire 90 minutes or 60 minutes or however far you want to go. And it's a toggleable heal, so it's constant, it will always be there for you. That's kind of why I've taken a liking to Oberon recently. He's a very strong frame, which is weird because I was never an Oberon player before his Prime came out. But ever since actually seeing his Prime and actually using it for myself, I've actually taken a big liking to it, and it's surprising, but I'm enjoying him. He's quickly turned into one of my frames right next to Ash Prime, who I only started liking once they announced that he was going to be vaulted. That's when I put a form into him or two, and I started actually caring about him. And, funny enough, he's become my favorite frame in the game overall. I never liked Loki. He wasn't fun for me. I have never really liked him. But Ash is a very strong frame. I really enjoy him. I really enjoy Oberon. It's weird, but only fell in love with them when Oberon was announced and when we were told, hey, you get to deal with this. I feel like half the reason that I like Oberon is really just because of his 3. And his versatility as a solo frame is ridiculous. Like, you can mod for his Reckoning, or you can mod for his Renewal, is it? Yeah. Even his Smite is a powerful ability. They increased the scalability of Smite, and it actually turned it into a strong ability. As well as Hallowed Ground. In fact, let me show you Hallowed Ground. Hallowed Ground actually has a decent amount of range. And it puts those procs on enemies now. That's something it didn't used to do. It used to just do damage when enemies walked across it. But now it actually has a pretty decent chance of getting a proc and making that proc last for a very long time. It's a strong ability, and I would definitely recommend modding for it in at least one of your builds. And the build I would suggest doing it on is a range and duration radiation build. It's not going to be the strongest build that you can do. I feel like this is the strongest build that you can do, but you can mod for it, and it does work. It does work. Also, I would not suggest using Zenuric with Oberon. He's not afraid to use it on. Unfortunately, I didn't think about that before I started the mission. Oh well, we're already 5 minutes in, so we're getting decent work done. I have a feeling I'm going to have to switch to the Sabaris, or to the Stilettos, though, because Infested isn't really a good faction to use the Sabaris mod. In fact, I would recommend against it, just because they run at you so fast, and the Sabaris is generally a slower weapon. I'd say the best kind of enemy to use the Sabaris on is going to be the Grineer, maybe the Corpus, but I would definitely suggest going Grineer first, and other than that, I mean, you can't really go with any other type of frame, unfortunately. Or with any other type of weapon. For the Infested, you're going to want fast damage, fast fire rate, just to get enemies out of your way. And, like, look at all of these dudes. Look at them. There's so many behind me. The Stilettos just pick them up perfectly. There's enough status in the weapon to do your status procs. There's enough critical chance to do enough damage. This weapon is very good against the Infested. I actually quickly become one of my secondaries that I go to commonly. The only other one is like the high damage Lex. I really enjoy the Lex, and I have a very good rhythm for it. So, I use that. I use the Stilettos. Really, anything other than that, I don't generally use. As you can see right there, I took a little bit of health damage. One thing that you can do is either use Reckoning, or you can just wait a second. You'll have full health. Like, Oberon is perfect, dude. I am enjoying him so much. He is quickly becoming my frame to go to for solo content. I'm not even, so what the heck's happening? Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. And now I have a green thing on me. Is that going to be for the rest of the mission? I hope that's not going to be for the rest of the mission. That's going to be for the rest of the mission. Cool. What if I destroy it? If I destroy you, do you go away? Somebody destroy me. Destroy it. Wow, that does some damage. Holy crap. Somebody destroy it. Come on. No, you can't. Anyone? Anyone? I will sit here until this thing is destroyed if it means that I don't have to deal with infested. Thank you. And it went away. Cool. And time to get my life support back up. Because that took some time off that I didn't really want to take. Oh well. I wasn't going to deal with that thing in my face the entire run. Wow, I'm getting destroyed right now. Time to go in with the melee. Melee weapons are the best. And there we go. Alright. So the one thing with these weapons, and especially hour-long survivals, one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try and keep your life support up high as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can. Towards an hour, you end up going to start running out of life support that you don't have. Unfortunately, this is something that you're going to have to deal with, and unfortunately it's going to be something that comes pretty slowly towards an hour. The one thing that you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up using all of the life support caches probably around an hour. Eventually you just can't kill things fast enough, and that's a problem. That's what I'm currently trying to judge these weapons on. I'm trying to judge them on how long they stay powerful and how long you can keep them in a competitive zone to constantly get life support and keep the endless mission alive. If a gun or if a arsenal slot or set doesn't work, like if the stilettos don't hold on long enough, or if the melee weapon doesn't hold on enough, and literally all I'm doing is just running around surviving, that's not good. And that's not something that is going to keep you sustainable. If that was the case, I would probably get back to run a very low rating and wouldn't do another hour-long survival with that weapon. With this first episode, really, it's guns that have been proven to be very good. Weapons that have been strong throughout the years. Weapons that have been extremely competitive. And Oberon is a frame that has been proven in hour-long survivals. He's a very strong frame, especially after his update. He is proven to have been a good frame if you're good at playing him. I'm not going to say I'm god at playing Oberon, but I'm a decent player, and I do love me some Oberon action. So with that being said, I'm strong enough player to know what to do with Oberon and what situations he's strongest in. With that being said, though, once I get to frames like Titania, yeah, I'm gonna have no idea what to do. Absolutely no idea. So, when we get to Titania, good luck on me getting an hour. In fact, I don't think I'm going to use any of her abilities. I think it's just going to be me trying to kill fast enough to not die. And that's honestly not good, because I have a feeling what's going to happen. But that is the point of this series. The point of this series is to figure out what weapons are good, what weapons are bad, and what weapons are overall the ones you're going to want to use. What is the meta, is basically what this series should be called. But I'm calling it after an hour, because then it proves after an hour if your frame is still strong. This type of video series is going to be the series that shows whether or not frames can handle those longevity runs, whether they can sustain damage, whether they are strong enough to not die, whether they have high enough armor bases, whether or not they do enough damage. Chroma is one of my favorite frames in the game. When I have an hour-long run with him, I guarantee you I'm going to struggle, because half of his work is that you take damage to do damage. And unfortunately, Chroma isn't a good frame for an hour-long survival. In an hour-long survival, your worry should be keep your health up, your energy up, keep your life support up. Not, oh, I'm going to lose a little bit of health here, but don't worry, I'll make it up later. No. That's a bad idea. As you can see, when we went over the builds at the beginning of the stream, I wasn't using Life Strike on my melee weapon. On a lot of other frames, I have a feeling I'm going to have to. And that's half going to be something that is going to be a downside. Frames like Trinity, frames like Oberon, and not many others are going to be frames that I don't have to use life support. So instantly those ones are going to be stronger than the other frames in the game. So if we look at Oberon, for example, he has a heal that you don't have to worry about. And Trinity has an activated heal. She also has a shit ton of armor from her Link ability. I have a feeling that certain frames that can heal themselves are going to be held higher than frames that can't. And that may be true, it may not be true. What we might end up finding out is that every frame is pretty decent no matter what. And it's really just your weapons. Which I also feel is true. With that being said, there are frames with abilities that can turn the difference. Ash is a very, very strong frame. He has his one ability, which is what I mod for. He has his one ability do a fuck ton of damage. Like, you can strip the armor off of a Grineer at 6 hours and still do enough damage with your primary to kill them. And that's what I'm trying to find out with this series. I'm going to keep saying it throughout an hour because I have no idea what else to talk about, because it's literally an hour-long survival. But this is the joy of being a solo content creator. One day this will move to PC. That will allow me to use things that are up to date, ergo Calibur's Chromatic Blade, which was just released a couple days ago on PC. Yeah, that's an extremely solid mod, and I really wish I could use it for an hour-long survival, but unfortunately my account isn't a high enough level to do it. That being said, I also want to show you guys some things in the simulacrum. I don't actually have the simulacrum unlocked, but I'm working on it. Alright, there's a synthesis target on this map, and I'll find it, don't worry. So as you can see, I'm starting to lose some life support. This is bad. And also, my melee weapon doesn't actually kill things as fast as I would want it. This is going to be different towards about an hour, because then it's actually going to be killing faster than I want it to. Or, well, obviously that's not a thing. But it's going to be killing at about the same speed it is now, which is very peculiar, because for a melee weapons don't get stronger, they get weaker. This one is weird because of Leaping Wound Condition Overload, I believe it's called. Weird because this is such a high status weapon. It really doesn't matter what you end up doing, because you're going to be putting so many status effects on there. You're going to be doing like 180% plus damage. And that's all heat and corrosive damage. So you're going to be putting just more and more procs. More and more procs. More and more procs. You're constantly going to be procking. It's going to make this weapon pretty strong. Unfortunately, I didn't actually use this build the first time that I used this weapon in an hour-long survival. I actually used a full critical build. That one worked flawlessly. But this one's actually cutting through people pretty decently. I wasn't expecting it to do this much damage early on. And, like, half the thing is you're not going to be doing damage later on. You're going to be doing status effects, which is interesting because I don't generally like status. I'm more of a critical person because I like doing upfront damage and staying high damage, fast damage for as long as possible. And really, hour-long survivals and endless missions aren't a thing anymore. Unfortunately, when they changed the Void, nobody cared about hour-long runs anymore. Nobody cared what endurance meant. Nobody cared about anything like that. And to be honest, I don't see why anyone should. When they took the Void out of the game, they made a big mistake, and I feel like a lot of people aren't happy because of it. Obviously, Void keys did need a change, but I don't feel like the change that they made was correct. I feel like they should have kept the Void. I feel like they should have let us farm endless missions with one key over and over and over again. But I don't feel like what they did was correct. I feel like they should have just changed the Void to the same system that it is now, but allow you to use the same key for more than one mission. currently you use one relic every 5 minutes. I wish you used one void key, all of you, and then with that one void key, all get 4 rewards. It's your choice on who gets what reward, not who gets what reward, but it's your choice on what rewards you get. Am I getting energy back or what? Like, come on, game. Oh, because I have a parasitic acid right there. Why is it not dying? Jesus Christ. This is the one thing I don't understand about this weapon, is it's very hard to come by. It's very hard to stay up with damage. But looks like it doesn't really matter. Oberon's armor is actually decently high on the Prime. He's got enough damage to the point that you can stay sustained, or not armor to the point that you don't really have to have your renewal up all the time. Which is why generally what I'll do earlier on is I'll just kind of let it go. I won't really use it. I'll only use my triangle or my 4. And then towards the end I'll start using it because it's really needed towards the end, isn't it? I really just need to kill all the parasitic axes. So those are really the only enemies that matter. Because those are going to be the ones that take all of the energy from you and eventually make it a pain in the ass. One thing I will be using in all of these is I will be using energy pods. Like when I run out of energy, I'll probably throw 1 or 2 down and kind of not worry about it anymore. And that's simply just for the fact of ease of use. I really just want to have an easier time with these hour-long survivals because I know I'm going to need a handicap on some of them. With that being said, on the frames that don't need it, they're probably going to get a higher rating than the ones that do need it. And yeah, that'll be that. So with that being said, let's talk about what I've been doing lately, as far as video games go. So I am still into Destiny. I don't think I'll ever not be into that game. But with that being said, I am actually starting to teeter off a bit. It's not as fun as it used to be, and quite simply, I'm just having as much fun as I used to. But with that being said, I am starting to look forward to Destiny 2. We have about 89 days until that game is released. I'm really looking forward to that. I plan on playing the beta in about a month. I still plan on playing Warframe, actually. I'm really loving this game. I think I always will. I'm really loving this game. I'm really loving Destiny. I'm really enjoying World of Warcraft, actually. And if you want to see some of that, please let me know, because it's a game I really enjoy, but I don't know if anyone would enjoy to watch it. So if anyone wants to watch some World of Warcraft gameplay, let me know. I would definitely play it on stream. I mean, it's a game I play all the time anyway, so if you want to see it, why the fuck not? Because I'm going to be playing it anyway. If you want to see that, let me know. I'm pretty sure not too many people are going to see this video, just because it's different than what Core Survivals used to be. But this is Oberon. This is his moment to shine. I've put in about 3 weeks into Oberon now. Similar with the Sylvan-Aegis and the, what the fuck is this gun called? The Sabaris. I hate it. Sabaris Prime is terrible. They should have left the Dex Sabaris, as well as the Dex Furus and the Dex Sakura should just be left alone. 2 of them have primes, which mean the Furus should be coming soon. That's going to be interesting, because I doubt anyone else is going to predict that. But, I don't know. We have about 3 months until the next Prime Frame. Next Prime Frame should be Limbo. I don't like Limbo. I've used him a number of times. I've used him before. I've used him after his update. I actually don't even like his ultimate ability after it was broken. When you had 10 people in his bubble and it would melt all 10 of them, I actually didn't even like Limbo after that update came out. I felt like it left him as a shell of what he should be. Really, I feel like he should just have a shit ton of strength in the Rift, but next to nothing outside of the Rift. I feel like his Rift should be a place where he does a lot of damage, and damage over time, but that's not what they do. Now, with that being said, I have some things about Oberon that I feel should be done as well, that they haven't done, but I can stop them from making that decision. Alright, let's see what the X-Stiletto does. god, the X-Stiletto still does so much damage. What the hell? X-Stiletto actually is extremely powerful still. That's ridiculous. I'm not sure if that's just because blocks or what, but holy crap. That's ridiculous. I'm literally just trucking damage down this hallway. If I'm doing it now, I'm going to be doing it long into the run. Like, I could probably sit here for the next 20 minutes and not have a worry in the world. The only problem would be life support, but as you can see, life support's building up in that last room that I was in. I might just camp here for like the next 40 minutes. The X-Stilettos. These bitches are powerful enough to actually sustain me for an hour. Problem is ammo. That's the other thing, is like, X-Stilettos, I feel like they need a prime pistol ammunition. Problem is that I don't really feel like spending money on a prime ammo. I just don't feel like spending ducats is worth it on a prime pistol gambit. But, whatever. Yeah, you can kill yourself. Surprisingly, actually, the Savaris is pretty powerful too. I will admit, I feel like the Savaris is a little bit more powerful than it used to. With that being said, I don't enjoy it. I feel like it's shell of what it should be. I feel like, if anything, they should have, like, increased the critical damage or something. It probably would have made the gun extremely broken. I would have liked it a lot more. The Dex Savaris was my perfect gun in this game. The problem is, unfortunately, it's not meta enough to still be worth using as much as it used to be. Like when it first came out, that was considered one of the most powerful guns in the game. And it still is. Unfortunately, however, are you gonna stop doing that, please? Yeah, this gun is ridiculous. I kind of want to bring this into just like a T4 survival, or no, not a T4 survival, but an Axie survival, just to see what it can do. Or the sorties, even. The sorties, I kind of want to see what this does. This is ridiculous. Like, the combination of enough status and a combination of enough like, damage from the crit, this is ridiculous. They shouldn't. What the fuck? And like, I've got all that life support in that room just because I'm killing people so fast. This will bring me back up to 100 probably. Oh, 72? 76, good. Okay. Thought it would get me higher. That means I'm slowly deteriorating on as far as kill speed. Which is surprising because I feel like I'm doing a fuck ton more damage than I used to. Now, one thing I could probably end up doing on this build with the SRY-in-advance actually is bringing down the status chance. And that might sound a little bit backwards, but hear me out on this one. Because I have weeping wounds on the weapon, the gun's actually going to hit 100% status chance very quickly. I think I do have Fury on this build, if I'm not mistaken. Unless I went with the critical chance build. If I went with the critical chance build, I'm mega sad about it. But I don't think I did, because it's doing heat. Corrosive, so I highly doubt it. Are you gonna stop knocking me down, please? Nope, they're not. And I'll knock you down. I'm not sure how I feel about status chance melee weapons. Like, obviously, the mod that they were given from the event is a very strong mod for it. All status chance weapons pretty much use condition overload now, because it does so much more damage when you use it. Fortunately, however, it's not used enough, and critical chance is king right now, or since the Nakana came out, pretty much been the way that it works. It's sad to say, but really, I mean, that's going to be going to be our game for a very long time to come. Until people get out of the sense of it's either one or the other, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to still struggle to find builds for weapons that are status chance. Like with this gun, I am building a build that has critical and status chance. I just don't have it ready yet. I've been working on it for weeks. I'm still not happy with it. Unfortunately, it swings too slow. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to change. Unfortunately, I'm trying and it's just not working. One day I will figure it out. I will be happy with my weapon. Unfortunately, it just needs one more mod slot. Like, if I could make this gun with every single mod slot in the world, oh, I totally would. Like, if in order to be happy with a weapon, all I had to do was use all of the mods in the game, oh, hell yeah, I would use it. Then my Nakata would sit top of a pedestal all day, every day. Because Nakata Prime is my favorite melee weapon. With a tie between Chroma and Ash as my favorite frame, and a tie between the Axe Stilettos, which I'm using in this video, the Lex Prime, and then my primary. You know, that's going to take a little bit of thought, because I really don't know what my favorite primary of the game is. I would say Soma Prime, but that's kind of a cheapskate move. I would say Bratton Prime, but that's also kind of a cheapskate move. If I was to go for one weapon over all of them, I would say Paris Prime. Just because that was my first Prime weapon. The first one I farmed for. And I really have a special attachment to that weapon. And with that being said, it's still a decent bow. Like, it's obviously not top of the line anymore. It's never going to be that age-old weapon that we all use. Or that we all use, think of it as. English is very hard, by the way. I don't know why I'm struggling on it so much. Alright, so we're halfway through, and currently all of the weapons are holding up decently well. The SRY-in-advance is actually not as good as I hoped it would be. It's not doing as much damage as I wanted it to, but it is actually keeping my life support up to about 100 the entire time. The Axe Stilettos, very impressed with them. They kill incredibly quickly. They do enough damage to where I'm happy. In other news, the Sabaris is actually a huge disappointment. Way too slow against Infested. It's never going to be able to do the damage that I want it to do. I picked this up, actually. The combination of Bleeding Wounds on this weapon I feel is unneeded. I would probably switch out Fury and do something else, because the status chance is so high anyway. One thing I might do is I might change to Blast instead of just pure Heat, but Heat is very strong on the Infested, so I probably would advise against that. But you can test that out if you would like. I feel like this build is decent for the SRY-in-advance, as well as I feel like the critical chance build that I had with the SRY-in-advance is decent. And then the half and half build I have a feeling is going to be godly once I get it working. Fortunately, I just am not happy with every aspect of it yet. Give me a week or two and I should finally figure out what I want from it. Wow, I got no focus. What weapon is it that has that thing on it? The Axe Stilettos, isn't it? Do this. As you can see, I'm starting to have to use my 3 a lot. I'm starting to lose the shield in about 1 hit. I'm starting to lose things in about 2 hits. Starting to lose it in about 3. Like, I have 82 health per second. That's what I'm gaining. And that keeps you alive, actually, for a fuck ton of damage. Especially once they put shield gating in this game, I have a feeling Oberon's going to be incredibly, incredibly powerful. And when that day happens, I feel sorry for TV, because they are going to have to think of something very, very interesting. They also notice that the combination of rage is actually keeping my energy up high enough all the time. That's one of the things that's peculiar about Oberon. The more damage that you do to him, the better he becomes, which makes him an extremely good late frame. The Rage and Rest, or the Rage and Renewal build, that's always been an interesting build for Oberon, and it's always kind of worked, and it's worked kind of well. Are you serious? Are you going to stop doing that? Thank you. That's the one thing I hate about the Infested. You try and kill them, and they just knock you over. The combination of Weeping Wounds on this is actually interesting. I notice I'm doing next to no damage the first hit, and then I just nuke them on the second. Very weird. I'm not used to weapons doing that, especially not a melee weapon. Like, I'm very interested as to what the hell this weapon is doing. And I don't know why Renewal isn't on anymore. Thank you. Yeah, you just always want to keep that ability up. Why am I healing two things? Oh, because my Sentinel is also taking damage. Like, you'll see, I get from, like, next to no energy to full energy very quickly. And that's the combination of Parasitic Eximuses and the Rage mod. And honestly, I feel like I probably could have done the Grenier now that I think about it. Like, this is pretty easy. Literally just meleeing everything. I think at the 40-minute mark, I want to try the other weapons again. See how they're holding up after 2/3 of the time. But this Sylva and Aegis is actually holding up very strong, and we all know melee is probably the strongest type of thing in the game. The type of weapon that's the strongest anyway. The things like the Sylva and Aegis, the Redeemer, the Nikana, they've always been our strongest weapons in the game, just because they deal truckloads of damage just incredibly quickly. And we're going to continue to chip away at the enemies, hopefully keep our life support up. I'm not sure how long I'll be able to keep it at 100. Most of my hour-long survivals, I can keep it up till about 54 minutes, and then it falls apart. So I'm going to hope that it lasts longer than that. At this rate, it's looking like it's going to last about that long, if not a little bit longer, but it does fall apart very, very quickly, especially on builds like this. The other thing that you have to deal with, unfortunately, is enemies like that one that just hit me. They take away all of your energy, stop all your abilities, and then when the Parasitic Eximus is around, you're not going to get your health back anyway. What I'm going to end up waiting to do, and I'm going to wait until I take enough damage to actually get enough energy back, but for some reason it's not letting me get energy back. That's peculiar. Because if I die, that's a bad thing. Very bad thing. There we go. You just always want to make sure that you have your renewal up, especially after about half an hour, otherwise you can have a problem. As an Oberon player, that's probably your biggest tip. That's really all I can suggest for you. I don't know why my 3 keeps stopping. Probably, yeah, it's because I have no frickin' energy. Why am I taking so much energy away? Frickin' stupid. What is taking my energy that fast? Absolutely nothing? Like, what is taking my energy? I'm getting hit and it's just disappearing. Like, this might be simple to some veteran players, but, like, I never really cared what enemies took energy from me and what ones didn't, because I would kill them so fast it doesn't matter. And I know it's a special type of unit and it's freaking infested, but I don't know which one. I can't really focus on them, I'm just kind of killing everything at the same time. There we go, give me that energy from that toxin damage, baby. Give it to me. Give it to me. There we go. And if you start taking too much, you quite simply use your 4, and it stops all damage coming in, while it continues to heal you. Like, Oberon's a very interesting frame. I love it so much, because you start taking a fuck ton of damage, and you're just like, nope. And then Rage and Renewal ends up being alive. Very strong build. It actually lasts for fucking ever, too. And as you can see, I'm still at 100%. Like, this build is still incredibly strong. Thank you for that. And like one of the things you'll also notice me do is if MOAs and Eximuses and stuff like that end up just getting me down too much and start to annoy the shit out of me, I'll just use a triangle just to use a triangle. That one I had to use it twice because I was stuck in that puddle. By the way, those puddles from the MOAs, they are going to kill you later on in the game. You'll stand in them for maybe about half a second, and then you'll have no energy again. It's very, very weird. Or not energy, health. Like the toxin damage from these flying things don't really matter. Anything but the MOAs, dude. The MOAs do so much damage, and it's ridiculous. I don't know how they do so much. But the MOAs are probably your biggest damage enemy in the game. When they throw that spit on the ground, it damages you for about 900 health a second at level 400, or at level 100. It's going to be about what the enemies are towards the end of the road. It's going to be facing about level 100 enemies after an hour on Gabby. If you start a mission at level 30, it's going to be about 130. If you start a mission at level 0, it's going to be like 8. This mission starts at 13. Gives you a high enough level to actually struggle at the end, but not enough to where it's like, hey, I can't do any damage to anything no matter what. And it helps that it's infested. It helps that it's infested and I have a heat weapon. Especially one that's doing a shit ton of heat. Okay, you guys are gonna stop. You're gonna stop again. The combination of Reckoning and then the melee weapon on top of it, Condition Overload, is that you're going to put a radiation proc on them, and then you're instantly going to turn around and you're going to do a fuck ton of damage because you have 60% more damage. Like, this build is very weird and I don't understand it, but it works, and that's all I care about. Like, I don't know why this weapon is so good, it just is, and it does what it does well. As long as you keep that renewal up, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna take so much damage that you can't handle it. And eventually, once you start getting your health lower, you're gonna end up having armor from the renewal. It's gonna give you about 400 extra armor, which actually allows you to do enough damage and stay up long enough. Like, watch this. All of these enemies have radiation procs on them. I just cut through all of them as fast as you could look at them. I one-hit every single enemy right there, just because they had one proc on them. If you get higher into the levels, you're going to have multiple procs on them because your level is higher. You're going to be facing enemies that you can't kill in one hit. Like, you will end up having so much damage, it's ridiculous. Especially if you use something like Hollow Ground, like I'm using right here. This is just as an example, but look at this. I put one proc on them, they die in half the time. And this isn't even a build that's made for this. If I wanted to make a build for the SRY-in-advance with Oberon, I probably could, and I could probably do it pretty easily, actually. I would just do a duration build with the Hollow Ground, as I am doing right now. I would probably do range duration, and literally just do what I'm doing right now. Okay, so time for a test. About 40 minutes, the SRY-in-advance is pretty powerful, I'll give it that. Fortunately, it doesn't look like this is. Yeah, no, it's taken a couple shots. 3 shots that time to kill that enemy. Holy shit, this thing still melts, though. Yeah, this thing still melts, and that's with an Ancient right around the corner. There's an Ancient right around the corner that's taking most of the damage from this weapon, and it's still out-damaging anything that I could possibly hope for. There's still an Ancient around that corner, and I'm still killing things faster than the Ancient dies. That's incredible. There he is. Now he's dead. And just like that. Look at this. This is incredible. This weapon is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future. Only problem that I have with it is that I lost my Weeping Wounds, but fortunately enough, it's not that big of a problem with this weapon. Oh, What's funny with Oberon is actually I kind of enjoy taking damage with him. Like, I feel like he's stronger when you take damage as opposed to when you're not taking damage with him. I would actually prefer to be taking constant health damage with him, just because I know his renewal will keep him up. Ooh, my Sentinel died. Well, that sucks. Hopefully it doesn't matter. I actually really enjoy my Sentinel. It keeps me knowing where enemies are, which is half the reason that I use a Sentinel rather than a Kubro. Mod Animal Instinct is just so incredibly good for me. I enjoy it more than most mods in the game, and I don't know why. It's a fun mod for me. A lot of damage very fast. Oh, I'm standing one of those dreaded Moa things I told you about. Sorry, man, those things do a lot of damage very fast. But if you like it, stand it for half a second and get a ton of energy back. That's the reason I like doing infested missions. And this toxin that they little bird things keep up, those are even better because those don't give you any risk. They slowly peel off your health and allow you to get the precise amount of energy that you want instead of having whatever it forces down your throat. But as you can see, I'm starting to lose life support a lot faster now. I'm keeping it at about 50% for the last couple minutes, but that's just probably mainly because I stopped using my melee weapon for a couple minutes. Like, melee's by far the most powerful thing in the game. Oh, I know what it is. I lost my Sentinel. Losing your Sentinel is actually a big deal when you're doing hour-long runs. You're going to stop picking up life support. It's going to get really annoying to actually keep life support. Ooh, I don't have the Ultra. Come on. Here we go. Come on. You have frickin'... what the fuck? As you can see, actually, now I have more armor from Hallowed Reckoning, or from the ability, whatever the fuck. Oh, what's it called? I can't think of the name. Iron Renewal is the ability name. I need health, please. Thank you. Oh boy. See, that's the weird thing with Oberon. You have enough armor to nearly die, but you never actually die. And it's a very scary way to play. Like, I fucking hate Oberon just because you get so close to dying every once in a while. But he's strong enough feel to the point that you don't actually die, you just almost die. Which means if you almost die twice in a row, you die. Right there, I take nearly as much damage as my health, but I still have enough to get out of the situation. Now, one thing I do want to know is when you get your Iron Renewal, because if I had it all the time, goddamn would it be nice. But I don't, and it's annoying, frustrating. I don't know how to unlock it. I wish I did, because that would make it 1,000 times easier to play as Oberon. And unfortunately, that just comes with the fact that I'm not an Oberon player. That was weird. I literally got one hit through 1,225 health. Yeah. It's situations like that. If I had Iron Renewal on right there, I would have been fine, but I do not. Let's actually see what the ability says, just to clear it out of the way that it doesn't actually say it. Healing waves of energy flow outward from Oberon to his allies, regenerating health over time. It does not say when you get more armor. It does not say what your bleed out slow and duration obviously is different. The buff duration is 19 seconds. So one thing that you could do is go complete armor build with Oberon. It would actually probably be one of the highest armor frames in the game if you were to do that. What's annoying with Oberon right now is the fact that he's not doing enough damage to actually stay up. That might be the fact that I don't have Weeping Wounds high enough. I don't know exactly. Where's the Eximus? Where is the Parasitic Eximus? Why did that ability just run out? Why is everything happening so fast? Like, I'm only 45 minutes into it. I'm not really panicking yet, but it's weird what's happening and what's not. my Helios already died 4 times, which is very peculiar. I'm starting to run out of energy faster than I can hold it, which is annoying. I'm not keeping life support up, which is annoying. I'm not doing things that I should, which is annoying. I'm gonna die because that's annoying. I'm honestly just taking damage so fast I can't handle it anymore, which is weird because I've never had that on Gabby with Oberon. I've always been able to handle the damage coming at me, and I never really have a problem with it until the 54th minute, which either I blow through my revives before the hour's out, or I just struggle in general. What's weird for me is that I'm not killing enemies fast enough. I thought I would be, but I'm not. And that's kind of alarming to me, because I'm not going to make it an hour if I do.
Extraction is your best option.
I have 30, 60, 80, 90, 120, 150. I have 150%. 20% gives you 30 seconds. Which means I have 150 seconds per 100%. Which means I've got a little under 300. A little under 300 seconds of life support built up. Which is how many minutes? 5? I have 5 minutes of life support, which means I need to get another 12.
Critical life support levels.
Yes, Lotus, yes, I understand. Enemies are level 91, actually. Strong, actually. Problem is, I need to get next life support area. I need to continue moving that direction, otherwise I'm gonna die. I might die anyway. Come on, come on. Be in this room, be in this room, be in this room. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Life support on the way.
That was close.
Life support has been replenished.
I'm just gonna bring myself up to 90. These 3. And then I'm actually gonna camp this room instead. Hi, little Moa. How do you do that much damage that fast? That's what I want to know.
Another life support capsule is now available.
I want to see it.
That should keep you
These were performing extremely well earlier. Yeah, they're still performing extremely well. God damn it.
The longer you fight, the more successful we will be.
I don't know if I'm going to make it an hour, really. It's powerful enough to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to do it. I might end up using these secondaries to do it. This thing is powerful, dude. This might be the strongest gun that I have in my arsenal right now. These things are ridiculous, dude. I honestly wish I had an animation for these. These are that strong. The point that these would be the difference between life and death, or between an hour and 54 minutes. These are actually keeping life support up. Weird.
Get ready for a capsule.
I have a feeling there's another X in this, because I wasn't killing that thing very fast.
I've delivered another life
I will admit though, it is a power. Whoa, what the hell? Damn, you hit a headshot on these guys and they go down like flies. The Expilettos are going to be the only gun powerful enough to do damage. Unfortunately, the melee weapon is the next powerful.
Consider extraction.
think I'm able to hold it off long enough to where I might be able to actually make a full hour.
Prepare for life support. Life support has been replenished.
I have a strong feeling I'll make it a full hour. That's, of course, that I don't make a stupid mistake and end up taking too much damage from something. I'll make it.
Additional life support has arrived.
Come on. That's the other thing, is you gotta slide through those puddles so fast, otherwise you're gonna die no matter what.
Extraction is ready.
I know that. That's interesting. I did not know I didn't have that mod. It's not like I'm ever going to use it, because if I was ever going to use it, I'd use something like 4.
Extraction is ready.
Is it now? Okay, thanks, Lotus. I've known for a while. I've known for a good hour now. I've known for a good hour now, Lotus. Please. Shut the fuck up. That's another thing I hate about hour-long runs, is you get to the 20%, and then Lotus is just a bitch after that. If you fall down to 10 or to 20% once, and then after that she needs to remind you every like 10 seconds that you have 20 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Alright, so I'm gonna go back towards these ones. Really, I'm gonna need them. I'm gonna go back to these ones. I'm gonna activate one of them on the way there, unless the other one's here as well. And then after that, should be good enough to go to our. Stop that. What? You had to have seen that. I literally went full to nothing in an instant. One thing I hate about these endurance runs, they're fucking stupid. What are these things? They're above 100 now. Hey, me. That was ridiculous. Now I'm starting to get to that point that I'm annoyed. Like, I'm gonna keep going until I get past an hour, but now I'm just getting annoyed because I'm getting one shot. That's where they should have put shield gating in the game a long time ago, because it's honestly freaking annoying getting one shot and just from full to zero in nothing.
Extraction is your best option.
You gotta do this, and then I gotta do this.
Running out of time. Consider extraction.
And I gotta do this. Like, everything is so pitch perfect. When you are in an hour-long survival, towards the hour, you have to be so perfect, otherwise you're not gonna do it. Like, you make one mistake, and especially in an invested. What the fuck? There is not critical life support. I'm at 60%. I'm going up since I used that last one. Calm down, Lotus. Got this under control. Don't worry. I'm actually doing pretty decent now. I don't get that. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of enemies here and I'm kinda nervous. I'm gonna get one shot. Please don't one-shot me. Please don't one-shot me. I'm not even taking damage. Why am I not taking damage? I'm scared. I'm not taking damage. I want to know why I'm not taking any damage. So I want to know why I'm getting life support at a decent rate now. What the fuck happened? Good God, like... See? Right there! I get one shot. Full to nothing. That's with armored renewal. So I actually do have a couple of recommendations for a different build or a change to Oberon builds, especially this one, after doing this hour-long survival. I have a couple things that I would suggest changing, and I would have a couple of things that I would actually do differently now that I have run an hour long with this build, and now that I have actually seen what happens and how to deal with Oberon. One thing I would never recommend getting rid of is the ability Rage. Never get rid of that mod, especially if you're going a high level survival. Like right now, enemies are over 100. Like, I am just barely surviving because I'm not getting one shot. Like, really what you're gonna have to... Ooh, that's not good. Definitely not good. What the hell, dude? I'm telling you, I'm getting one shot. Full to 0 in no time. I might not even get out of here. Like, there's one build that I would suggest doing instead of the one that I'm using right now. And there's a couple things that I would like to test out down the road. Because this isn't a perfect build by any means. I'm not going to say that it is. Actually, let me read your comments. I have time. Hi, Nerf class. Is Prime Continuity, Saren set, and Valkyr worth a Frost set? Saren and Valkyr are pretty cheap. Prime Continuity, if it's maxed, is decent. Otherwise, no. If it's maxed, then it's gonna be up to you. You're getting 2 for 1. Unfortunately, Frost has been vaulted for a very long time, so you're gonna have to decide on that one. I would say no. If you have a Frost set, I would not get rid of it. But if you are the one getting the Frost set, then fuck yes, go for it. Because a Frost set is Frost is a very solid frame that you're not gonna get for the price that he is right now. And Saren you can farm in the game. Prime Continuity you can farm, well, you can get in the game. And a few other things you can get in the game. If you're trading something that's in the game for something that's not in the game anymore, do it. But if someone else is the one getting the Frost set and you're selling, or and you're buying the other 4, no, don't do it. I would value a Frost set over the 3 that you said. Am I gonna get one shot again? If I get one shot again, I'm gonna be pissed. And I'm also getting sick of having no energy. Why am I having no energy? All the time. I've had no energy for the last, like, 10 minutes. It's stupid because I'm using a rage build. A rage build, which is literally built for freaking having energy all the time. What the heck? Sentinel, please. Sentinel, please. Sentinel, please. Sentinel?
Critical life support levels.
DE, please fix the fucking savior. Like, that mod should focus on you, not the enemies. Did I make it an hour at least? I don't even know. Oh, I mean, if you're getting a Frost set for that, then I would definitely trade that. If someone will trade you Prime Continuity, Valkyr, and Saren for a Frost set, definitely. I wouldn't add anything to it. Okay, well, that's a disappointing thing, but Oberon does last an hour. I did just prove that. But unfortunately, he is not a frame that can last much beyond that just because he doesn't have enough armor. You subbed. Thanks, bro. It means a lot. especially for a small channel like mine. So one thing that I would suggest, I don't really know. The one thing that I would suggest, getting a certain new Loka mod. It's a mod, it's gonna be interesting. Don't really know where to put it, but mod is called Phoenix Renewal. It's gonna make sure that every time you take fatal damage, instead of actually dying, you go back to 50% health. Now with the build that I have, that's actually pretty strong. I would definitely recommend taking that. Unfortunately, you have the problem of you're missing one spot on this build, and I don't know where I would put it. I can't put it here. I really don't know. I guess I would take the range out, because you don't really need range when you're playing solo. In fact, this is more of a play like with your friends build. So what I would recommend is taking stretch out and putting something else there. I'm not exactly sure what, but I would probably put that Phoenix Renewal mod there. As for the Savaris Prime, this isn't a weapon that's going to be able to handle as long as it does. Unfortunately, this is not a build that I would use. I would probably end up going with Argon Scope and Bladed Rounds if you have them. I don't, so that's why I went with this. But I would end up taking Thermite and Fang Fusillade off and going with that. The X-Stilettos, these actually did extremely well. I'm incredibly impressed by them. This is the build that I would go through 100%. Sylvan Aegis, this is a strong weapon. It's not the build I would use. I liked the critical chance build more when I used it, and then I haven't been able to do this build, but I don't think I'm going to like this one just because of how slow it is. So I would end up going with this build, actually. I would end up going with the full critical chance build and dealing with that. Unfortunately, I wouldn't do this. Oberon build. I don't have one finished, but I can basically give you the gist of it. Rhino Prime is going to be based on duration and strength. Range is probably going to be your throwaway stat. Unfortunately, you're going to want to do Iron Skin, which is the dick move, and then you're going to want to do Roar. So those are the two builds you're going to want to do for him. Ferrite Armor is all based off of strength, so get as much strength as you want. And then duration is going to be what's Roar is like done for. So you're going to want to have as much strength as you can. This is the build that I am currently using. I'm probably going to end up changing it eventually. And this is with focusing on Zenuric. So like, I would probably end up taking Brine Rage and putting it here. And that's going to change the strength is going to go way through the roof, and your efficiency is probably going to drop down to somewhere around 80. Yeah, it's going to drop to 80. So I guess that's my Rhino build. It's not finished. I need to move this up here, and I need to move a fully maxed flow there. But that's my build for Rhino. Instead of Steel Charge here, I would end up going with probably Corrosive Projection. It's going to be your best. He's probably going to end up being a 3 Forma frame. My favorite frame in the game is another tanky frame, actually. His name is Chroma. I love me some Chroma. Got 5 Forma in him. But yeah, that's my Rhino build. So far, I assume it's going to change a little bit, but that's currently what it is. This is going to give you enough ferrite armor to make it probably 30 minutes without having to really worry about your armor. And then after that, ferrite armor really isn't going to be what you're going to want to focus on as Rhino anyway, and that's why you're having duration, because Roar is also a very good ability. It's going to be around 50 seconds at the rank that it currently is. In fact, yeah, 57 seconds is going to be the duration of your Roar. And then you're going to get 82% more damage with any weapon and with any Warframe ability. And that's going to make Rhino actually a very strong frame. Like, lots of people give him shit for it, but he's a very strong frame. Yeah, yeah, that's about it. That's all I got on Rhino. Any other builds you wanna see, wanna hear about? Do you recommend Bratton or Soma? They're actually both very strong weapons. The Bratton Prime I think is actually my most used weapon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Bratton's actually my most used. It's got 6 form in it, and then the Soma Prime is my third most used with 4 form in it. Bratton Prime, this one's pretty simple for me. I go for a few different builds. Not exactly sure which one I like most because I've taken all of them to different lengths as far as the end game goes. But this one, really the longest I ever did was like 40-minute T4 survival. So this is going to be your Void Grenier build. It's going to be 79% status. This is what I do. It's a decent build. That's going to be for your Grenier and your Void. This is a Heat and Corrosive build, which I focused on a little bit. This one's got Fang Fusillade in it instead. It's going to give you a lot more slash procs, but it's going to give you a little bit less corrosive damage. Overall, they're about the same as far as like, productivity goes with the weapon. Is Valkyr and Saren worth mag? Yeah, I would say so. Valkyr and Saren are both cheaper frames, and mag is vaulted. I would try and get her for just the Valkyr, actually. Or just a Saren, for that matter, because mag actually isn't too valuable of a frame because she doesn't do much. And then this is your Rad Viral build. This is going to be for your Corpus and your Infested. Other than that, you also wanted to see the Soma build. This one's interesting. This isn't the build that I would go for, but this is if you don't have them. You're going to do Serration, Split Chamber, Vital Sense, Point Strike, Stormbringer, and Infected Clip's going to give you that Corrosive. And then instead of Hammer Shot and Speed Trigger, I would actually do probably the Argon Scope and Bladed Rounds way, but I don't have those two. Do I have a mag set? Probably not. I haven't had a mag set in forever. I might have a helmet, but I'm on PlayStation. Mag's interesting. She's a weird frame. This used to be her old build. Used to fuck everything up. Now it doesn't do anything. It's sad to see old builds die. But no, unfortunately I do not have a mag set. Trade a set for any set. I mean, I have pretty much everything I want, but if you want to see them, I'll show you my parts. The only set I won't get rid of is this Vauban set, because I still haven't built a Vauban yet. But other than that, I don't even think I have a set, actually. Of anything. I haven't cared enough lately. Just because, like, literally, it's so boring to grind for prime parts, so I just don't do it. And the Boltor I need a blueprint for, but that's way too expensive for me to deal with. What are you trying to get? Are you trying to get the Valkyr and the Saren set, or are you trying to get what? What are you trying to get? I'm not entirely sure. And you gotta keep in mind I'm on PlayStation. I don't know if you know that. I'm assuming you do. Ah. Yeah, unfortunately the thing for me is I don't have many sets, so you're not probably gonna want to be looking at me to get new sets. I need to work on this. It's a good gun, but I need to work on it. Alright, Nerf, anything else you want to see, or is that going to be all? If that is it, then I think I am going to get off. Right as another viewer comes in, how touching. Still kind of frustrated. Like, I should have made it that entire hour. I did make it the hour, but, like, I should have been fine. I don't know why I struggled. Alright, man. You have fun with that knitting alert. And, yeah. That is gonna be all for me tonight. I'm thinking the next kind of version of this one, I think I'm gonna go with more of a machine gun type vibe, and then I might finish it off with a shotgun. So probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up going for either the Burston, the Boltor, the Soma, or the Braden. Probably gonna be the Braden because that used to be my favorite gun. Secondary, I'm not sure, man. I love the Lex. Lex is always gonna be one of my favorite guns. Especially, like, this is my highest format weapon with 6. Like, I love this gun. It's gonna be my favorite forever. It's gonna be my baby. So I think I'm gonna go for that next time. And then, as far as the melee weapon goes, I think we're gonna have to round it out with all of my favorite weapons and get the Nikana out there. And then, for frame... Should we just round it out and go for all of my favorite things? Go for a chroma? Go for an ice chroma build? Should I go ice tank? Ooh, that is the question. I think I might just go ice tank chroma. There's my ice tank build. Oh, I love my chroma. Yeah, I'm gonna go chroma. So there we have it. Next episode, we're gonna do a little bit of chroma action, a little bit of Bratton Prime action, a little bit of Lex Prime action, and a little bit of Nakana Prime action. And then might as well just switch the Sentinel to, I don't know, Carrier, because like it's gonna make a difference. Yeah, there we have it. Thank you all for watching. This has been SRY-in-advance, and I'll catch you guys next time.